the thing is this, right? Information travels very fast in villages.
Yeah.
Right? When price picks up at this point, before you start buying and get to the other side of the
It
town,
has already picked up.
everybody knows the new
Has there
price.
been a farming season like that?
Oh no, it's every single season. It's
Every
not.
season,
Yeah.
You can start thinking, okay, the price is here and this is only here.
Yeah.
There are phones now. People are not illiterate.
Yeah.
You can pick a phone and call someone and tell people, oh,
Me
me
and
too,
price,
Bruno. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a thing price, yeah.
So when I saw the money that the farmers were making,
Hey,
yeah, it was crazy. Like,
it may sound like a joke, but
Yes, it's true.
you may see somebody walking there with tattered clothes. If he tells you the amount of money, well, these are the big traders. But if you see the amount of money, you'll be shocked.
Yeah.
They don't put on a Versace or a Gucci for you to see.
Yeah. Do I own a DSTV at home? Oh yeah, definitely. No, not personally, but
how do you feel about it? I don't have one, so
no, everybody would definitely be happy for a price reduction. Like as a customer,
yes,
it's
that's
a good
what-
news.
Okay, I didn't like the
Approach.
DSTV's first communication that I mean they had their grounds, which is
Yeah.
like something that you should do.
Yeah.
But I also didn't like that. I mean, they didn't even give a slide through that.
No.
We might consider
Yeah,
they
oh,
will
yeah,
not do
they
it.
will not do it.
They said they will not do it.
They will not do it.
Hello, lovely viewers and audience. You are welcome to Building Bytes, where we tell relevant stories about Ghana's tech ecosystem to fuel innovation and drive the growth of our digital economy. This show is proudly brought to you by production support from Hubtel and is shot in the studio of the Hubtel Academy. And as you already know, Building Bytes now airs on MX24 every Thursday at 8 p.m. and repeats on every Sunday at 7 p.m. You do not want to miss these unfiltered conversations. Now, coming to today's episode. We've titled today's episode From the Field to Global Fulfillment. Why is it so? When we talk about agri-tech, we are not just talking about tech platforms or engaging with farmers. We are also talking logistics. We are also talking cold chains. We are also talking warehousing. We are talking compliance and fulfillment. And that's what this conversation is going to be about, because these are actually the backbone that ensures that the African-grown crops meet global standard. So to join us in this conversation is the ever-focused and growth-minded Chief Operating Officer at Saving Grade, and he goes by the name Kelvin Tyron. So before we get into the conversation, we are going to take what's happening in tech from our co-host, Caleb.
Hi everyone. So yeah, what happened in tech this week? Clara B. Atta has been appointed the new CEO of GIPS, and a lot of news have been coming up. People sharing their opinions. I'm sure our panelists here have their opinions, but the interesting thing is that Clara has experience in the fintech industry and other spaces, including Ecobank International, working at eProcess. She worked at Fidelity and other fintech organizations globally. So having her back, because she's been at GIPS before and she went away, now she's back again. Having her back seems to be a major win for us in the tech ecosystem, but people have their opinions. I don't know what my team here think. What do you think?
It's a winning game for women. That's what I think.
I think, I won't say that's shallow, but I think that's also another aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's a big win for women, like having women lead some of this tech.
Why would you want to use shallow?
No, if it's just the basis of like...
Not
because
just that, but
yes,
so,
the hand,
yes.
that would be...
I mean, we want more women in the space.
I think this government has done a lot for bringing more active
That's
women
true.
to the forefront. So, Kelvin, what do you think? Having her as GIPS CEO, after a big man like chairman. Chairman.
No, I think she's qualified for the role. It's not just about her being a woman. She's actually very qualified. If you look through her credentials, she's I would say she's the right woman for the job. Or let's say the right person for the job.
Yeah.
I wouldn't reduce it to a conversation about gender or I think she's actually qualified. I think I've interacted with her on a couple of other on Saving Greens earlier before. Okay. She's very knowledgeable about what she's doing.
Wow.
I think she really knows what she's about.
Interesting.
I think for me, there's one thing when an ecosystem person is appointed for a role.
Yeah.
There's a way you know that people are behind her.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn, almost everybody is posting a picture of her.
Yeah.
People are really excited that she's gotten a role.
Exactly.
And from to get that ecosystem support right from the onset is fantastic.
Yeah.
Almost like she's the right person for the job.
You know what I think, right? A lot of the typical government appointee is full of people who have, like, let's say, political experience and our political appointees.
Yeah.
And I feel like the spaces like payments is a very practical, pragmatic space. So you should get someone with the experience. And I think it's a very good appointment. I don't know, kudos to whoever made it. Judgment call on that front. So,
that's amazing. So another thing happening in tech is that NCA serves a 30-day notice suspension to multi-choice if they don't reduce their price. This is also a very interesting one, looking at people's sentiment where they are paying for a product and now they are excited that the product can reduce for them to pay. And also from a private business operation perspective where private business is operating, trying to make its profit and its business, and government wants to interfere. But I'm curious to know what you also think. I'll start from you.
Do you own a DSTV?
Yeah, on DSTV.
Do you own a DSTV? Do you own a DSTV at home?
Do I own a DSTV at home? Oh yeah, definitely. No, not personally, but
How do you feel about it? I don't have one. So
no, everybody would definitely be happy for a price reduction, like as a customer.
It's
a good news. But
does it help the?
Does it need a political power to make that justification? That's another case.
I think it's warranted, right? You should look at the data that he put forward to make that decision. Right? I saw the analysis based on they looked at markets of similar size, the number of people in the market, and the pricing, right? Okay. Even compared situations when it comes to like forex changes and stuff like that. We are nowhere in the same bracket as the other countries.
Oh wow, they're paying higher,
way higher. Anyway, let me not get involved in this. But you look at the numbers speak for themselves. It's not even a situation of. I think he's spot on to do exactly what he did.
I didn't like the DSTV's first communication that I mean they had their grounds, which is like something that you should do.
Yeah.
But I also didn't like that. I mean, they didn't even give a slide room that we might consider they will not do it.
They said they will not do it.
They will not do it.
Without an explanation as to why.
They mentioned that they have automatically upgraded some of the packages. So you might not have a reduction, but you now have more services, better services or more services.
Oh, that's what they said.
That was the earlier communique. But I from the point of government, they prefer reduction. Just reduce the price so people can pay, more people can pay, instead of like increasing the package.
But for me, I'm also worried in the sense that I know DSTV, employs a lot of people, directly and indirectly.
Yeah.
Their marketing budgets, sponsors a lot of billboards and stuff like that. A lot of shoes run because DSTV marketing is coming. So what happens to all of this if, they enter a legal battle and they are supposed to, their license is being revoked for some time? What happens to all this? I have a friend who works there. What happens to him? Like, that's my worry also.
Yeah. That is very tough.
That's what happens to EPL that people like to watch, you know.
They'll find some.
They'll find some. But as they say, when two elephants fight the grass suffers. So.
Okay, so
good conclusion.
Yeah, that's what happened in tech. So we are moving to This Week in AI. This Week in AI, we have two stories. The first story is that Google has launched a new AI search engine in the UK. I know they tried with bad, but you don't know what is going to happen now. We're looking forward to it. Another info is that Apple might be building its own AI answer engine. It's interesting, they don't want to use search engine, but definitely search is like a Google word. So answer engine, we are looking forward to see how that works. So these are the interesting things happening in tech and in AI. Back to Yaira.
Thank you so much, Caleb, for that. And getting right into the conversation. You're welcome, Kelvin.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So tell us who Kelvin is. Tell us about Kelvin.
That's a very difficult question. Anyway, so professionally, I would say Kelvin is a all-rounder, right? So I'm an all-rounder when it comes to. So I've done a bit of field stuff, done some technical stuff myself as an engineer, and I've done a little bit of stuff in relation to business. So I'll say I've played in different parts of the technical space myself, right? So, yeah, that would sum me up in the professional setting, basically. Yeah. Awesome. But
what of the other side?
In the other side,
I think we'll leave that conversation of the podcast. But thinking of that, you've mentioned a few, and this conversation happens to deal with like fulfillment from field to global and all that, global standards and all that. What does, for someone like you who's a chief operating officer, what does that work look like for first time I'm hearing this, or someone wants to understand such a role?
So for an agri-tech like Saving Grains, Chief Operations Officer is a role, a combination of managing people and managing processes, right? Okay. So I would say it would be easy to manage processes that are very digital in terms of maybe you're sitting in a team and you have structures and processes that have to do with things that have to be done, let's say, how documents are filed in a software system, things like that are very easy. But you're dealing with a combination of on-ground processes with real people and real products that are moving, and then dealing with managing people as well. You also have to deal with software as well. And in my role, because I'm playing a product role, CPO role as well, I'm managing a mixture of software products, people, and real on-ground processes as well. So that's typically what it looks like, because you have to make sure that goods are moving from point A to point B, handling how things are done between staff on the ground and people who are sitting in more administrative positions. So that's basically what the role looks like.
Awesome, awesome. So getting into the work, for you having also like a software background, bringing to a field or an operations background, it's interesting to find out with the attention on the challenge of like infrastructure in Ghana. You guys, to some extent, have overcome some of these challenges. What are some of the challenges you identified in your work or you face in your work? And if maybe after the answer, how have you overcome that in your work?
So as you've said, right, I think generally for most startups in Africa, the big issue you're dealing with is building the infrastructure yourself brick by brick, right? Because a lot of things don't exist. I think the government is taking bold steps to get involved in commodity trade, trying to regulate pricing on certain fronts. You see them at least come out and state the producer price for certain things. Let's say, first the focus was more on cocoa. But you've now seen them get involved more in other places, like cashew. The government stepped in to state the price. There was also the Visus mentioned price for shea nut as well. Right. So when it comes to the question was about infrastructure.
Infrastructure. What are some of the gaps you face?
The gaps you have, some of the key gaps you face, especially with transportation of produce around. That's a big gap you typically would deal with when you are doing commodity trading. You also have to deal with issues around finding the right people to deal with, to work with. That's one of the biggest parts of it. I did mention earlier that as a chief operations officer, you're managing people more than you're managing you're managing people as well as you're managing the processes involved. Because you need to know how to get your people to handle the situations on ground. And you're dealing with farmers that are not very educated. You understand? So they have their ways of doing things, and that actually affects the way you deliver.
So how have you overcome some of this infrastructure gap in your work, on your field? What are some of the things you people at Saving Grains have done to solve some of these issues in your own way?
Can we talk about what Saving Grains
what does Saving Grains
what does Saving Grains do? So Saving Grains is in the way we do two things, right? We support farmers and we connect them to markets, right? Those are the two main things we do. So we do it through post-harvest loss technology. That was the main thing we entered the market with. We are looking into going into other forms of support for farmers as well, and then basically connecting them to global markets, domestic and international markets as well. Those are the main things Saving Grains are through technology.
Okay, so recently we hosted another C-level suite from another agri-tech company. And they mentioned that they have some particular commodities they trade in, like Saving Grains. Do you have some particular commodities you trade in that you could highlight?
Okay, so our focus crops, the crops that we deal with, cashew, cocoa and cocoa products, right? We do maize as well. We do shea nut, we do shea butter, and we do soy.
Why these selected products?
Why these selected products? Well, let me say, if you go across some of the larger commodity players in the market, there's a reason why most of them are playing in this space, because I would say there's a lot of demand on the other side of the world. Right? So it's as you know, as a business, you do what people are looking for. Right? There's a lot of demand for all these products on the other side of the world, and these value chains are still very broken. So,
but I also know of other long existing, not even agri-tech, like agri companies like is it the Ashavins or Ashvin Brothers or something. The ones in Tamale. I forgot their name.
They're
the Northern region.
It sounds Indian.
Yeah, Indian. Yeah, but they've been in existence for more than like 35, 40 years.
Okay.
Cashew trading, big guys in it. Yeah. They're in the Northern region mostly, and in the Bono side.
Sure.
They've, survived some of these markets for a number of time and other. Didn't you consider them like as a big competition, big players in some of this field that they probably get the deals? They send for me, I've seen some of their tracks, and you see tracks of cashews. These are trailer tracks going out. How did this find? How do you feel like, or do you guys know that there's an opportunity there, even with such large players for saving grains?
I think the agri space in Ghana is largely underexploited. That's the fact, right? True. I don't think we are at the point where we've peaked in terms of what farmers can do.
Yeah.
And even in terms of what trade, the potential for what trade in Ghana can look like, right? Yeah. There's so much infrastructure, as you're asking, that was mentioned, that is missing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of things are running on working with hacks, things that will basically solve the current situation.
Yeah.
We don't have proper warehouse receipting systems, standard ones that are working globally across the country, right? Yeah. If not for the fact that the world is slightly globalized, let's say we are dealing in a globalized space a little bit, we'd have prices shocked, a lot of it, when it comes to commodities, because we are basically having food come in abundance at a certain point in time and disappear. If not for the fact that there's import-export across our borders, and if we were running in a silo within Ghana alone, we'd have a lot of those issues, where there'll be a lack of access to food at certain points in time because of that.
Interesting. Interesting. So, saving grace is into this kind of work. I think I asked the question, the infrastructure gap, how you solved it. So for you now, people having the background of what saving grace and what your role is, what are some of the infrastructure gaps you face? And I don't know whether you mentioned some, and how have you solved it? You can even mention the solution. What you face.
Let me not make sure I lose track of it, because you have infrastructure gaps from farming all the way to delivery. Let me make sure I don't lose track of that in my thought process, right? So
you mentioned transportation.
Yeah, let's say transportation. That's at the later stage. So let's start from the farming itself. Take, for example, in some communities, if you're doing soybean, right?
Okay.
You will notice that you will find stones in one community soybean more than you find stones in another community's soybean. Yeah. The difference between those two communities is the availability of threshers. Right?
Availability of
threshers.
So basically,
what's a thresher for someone?
So it basically takes the bushel of soya and then sort of sticks out the stuff, the beans out of it, basically. It just beats it. So you see them. So if they put it on the ground and they beat it with sticks, that's how they get it out. If you do it that way, when you're done, you're obviously going to collect stones on the ground into it. That is the difference between the two. We need more investment into threshers. I wouldn't say the government has to do this. I feel like there's space for private people to do it.
Yeah, including your business.
Yes, we are also getting we are getting involved in that space. We are getting involved in that space because the truth is this: if you want to be a business in a market where there's a lack of infrastructure, you have to be vertically integrated from top to bottom. You do everything on your own. There's no situation where you hand this over to this guy and it works perfectly. You understand what I'm saying? So I even feel like even software businesses should even think that way, because we need software for every aspect of the market. But if the infrastructure is not built, what are you building the software on? You understand what I'm saying?
Most people start, it's a typical issue. You start with one problem, end up with
So the approach I would say regular businesses should take, and which we have decided to take, is build the software first for your own business. And then build the infrastructure, because there's no way you can build the software without the infrastructure. Which means that you need to look into situations where you're doing blended capital, blended finance, right? Because a lot of developments is community-based and for the community. And it's not things you can build and sort of reap benefit of from day one. You understand? So you need to look into situations where you're doing blended finance. Blended finance means you're combining commercial finance with finance that benefits the people. So let's say grants. So take, for example, Complete Farmer. We're working with GIZ on ICT for Ag, right? Projects where we are helping farmers with post-harvest loss technologies on different fronts. because some of these things don't exist, you have to be able to provide them warehousing and let them know that in this area, if you get the goods, you can send it here and it to be sold. Right? Don't keep it in your room. Use hermetic bags. You do this, do this. All those things have to matter, right? So I would say one approach to tackling infrastructure challenges is tackling it with blended finance. That's one way. That's one way. That would be a blanket statement I'll say across everything if you want to look at it in that way.
So that means one of the proposition you are coming up is that finance plays a key role in some of these.
I think across every business, finance plays a key role. In the way I think every business has to consider this.
But in a way that a startup has like limited resources. So working in there, people don't know, but agri is like money-intensive businesses.
Yes.
Especially for people who, export and sell to buyers outside. They are huge. I talk about like huge amounts of money, and some of the cash. I don't know whether I don't know. Do you get, for someone to understand? Do you get the money saving before you produce, or they pay after you deliver them?
No, it really depends on the client you're dealing with, right?
Okay.
It really depends. You can't exactly state. Okay. Depending on your relationship also with your clients, it will factor in. But most of the time, you have to pre-finance most of the deals you're doing with. I think when it comes to financing, there's a lot of, let's say, donor financing that's rolling around now these days for agri-focused interventions, agri-focused businesses. That's the thing I would say, right? So it's not so hard for businesses to find access to those capitals you're saying, right? The big problem I have seen with businesses not being able to access that is lack of collecting data on the impact you're actually making. The truth is this. I think this is a bit controversial, but capitalism inherently contributes impact.
Definitely.
Even though it may be seen in some way. So I feel like every single business must consider the impact angle to which you are running your business, which means record the things you're doing to help the people in your community, right? If you give a loan, you help someone with his school. You're giving access to a kid to school.
Record it.
Record the number of kids that are taking all those things. As I said, if you're building in a situation where there's a lack of infrastructure, once again, blended finance. So every business working in a situation where there's no infrastructure has to go at it from that angle.
Okay, so in situation where you've pre-financed certain projects you had to work on, have you found yourself experiencing losses?
Definitely.
and definitely. How was that situation, or how have you gone about like such situations?
So typically, right, when you run into a loss, obviously first thing you have to do is understand why that happened, right? And then look into your processes. In a startup, you run with the principle of like you fail forward, right? You fail, you learn, you reinvent your processes, and you get through things. Like, so if you were driving at 100 miles per hour instead of in a 50 zone, you create a rule that nobody drives at 100 and a 50 zone anymore. And that becomes a process within your operations, and that runs. So that becomes the rule you create. So first and foremost, you run like an autopsy. To try and understand what happened, what went wrong, and how to make that happen. And then the second part, you also have to understand that it's business. Things happen. It shall happen.
It's bound to happen.
It's bound to happen. So you just have to learn from it anytime it happens.
So I'm interested to know how, from Saving Grace perspective, how you manage farmers, how you manage field agents, how you manage software engineers or technical people. How do you do that from your end? Because you're trying to deliver a service that goes beyond the local market. So you can't just allow anybody to do anything and assume it will all align with the standards, especially knowing that there are also standards in the market. How do you do that?
Can I add a small question on that?
Help me out.
I mean, most people in Accra, or most developers or most founders think the agri issue is a software issue. So just to add on the question that Caleb has just asked, is it really a software issue? Is it really a moving to the grounds issue? Is it a blend of it? From experience, what really is the agri? Because we know agri moves stuff. Our GDP and most of it is in that area. Is it a software issue? Are the softwares? Are the farmers?
I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix. I wouldn't pin it down to. But obviously, one carries more weight than the other. Right?
Definitely.
I really think it's a mix. To be honest, right? one thing you need to realize is software is an efficiency multiplier.
Yeah.
If efficiency is 0, you get a lot of 0.
Yeah.
You understand what
1,000 times 0 is still 0.
Yeah, you will still get a lot of 0 no matter what you do.
Yeah.
So the one thing you also need to understand about agri-operations is it's much like products. Maybe I don't assume I'm talking to technical people that understand.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
think about it in this way, that you can't send a person in a suit to go work with someone that wears a t-shirt, doesn't speak too much English.
Yeah.
And his work clothes are supposed to be tattered because he's doing groundwork.
Yeah.
He can't be in a neat suit. Yeah. And if you send somebody like that to that person,
He will
disregard you.
Yeah.
He'll look at you in a certain way.
Yeah.
So basically all I'm trying to say is that sometimes the people who can work best with the people in the farmers in certain communities are people from their own communities.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wow. Interesting.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So your field agents will be recruited from those communities.
You don't import.
It will be hard for you to import because language is a barrier.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned you deal with it. Yeah, true.
You want to say something before?
Yeah, I was saying that there's something like highly practiced in like mining companies and mining areas. They prefer to hire people locally. I mean, yes, maybe a lot of it is more for local impact, but it also makes sense because if you are employing people in the community, people cannot destroy what they are doing there because it affects them.
Exactly.
So there's ripple effect. The same way if a field agent is working with somebody in his community or her community, he knows that it makes sense. I have to make this person succeed. So I can have even a job to keep connecting to that person or getting whatever information or produce we want for that person. So there's a lot of a stronger connection there, I believe. So it makes a lot of sense. But I mean, so in a much simpler sense, you mentioned hiring local. Is there anything else you do to manage your farmers better?
So yes, you may hire locally, but you also have to bring, let's say, international standards
in there
to the community.
Yeah.
You have to teach your agents how to do certain things. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You can't run agri the standard way, agronomic practices, things of that sort, helping the agents because if you're doing aggregation, even if you're doing pure aggregation, it's even though it's a price game, it's also a relationship game and who you know thing, right? Yeah. Because it's not like there's a portal that the farmer looks up and picks up.
But people have claimed they are building some of these portals.
You're shooting shots.
No.
You're just saying.
You're just saying.
Those words are clearest words. It's not a podcast.
You're trying to put me.
No, I'm not putting anything. I mean, I want to say opinion.
Just looking at VTEX.
So
it's not a software issue.
So the thing is this, right? Information travels very fast in villages.
Yeah.
Right? When price picks up at this point, before you start buying and get to the other side of the town,
It's already picked up.
everybody knows the new
Has there
price.
been a farming season like that?
Oh no, it's every single season. It's
Every
not.
season, okay.
Yeah.
You can start thinking, okay, the price is here and this is only here.
Yeah.
There are phones now. People are not illiterate.
Yeah.
You can pick a phone and call someone and tell them, oh,
Me
me
a
too,
price.
Bruno, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a thing price, yeah.
And before someone even gives you a price, they've communicated
Yeah,
across. They will also tell you I'm coming, and then they'll check. They'll check from their neighbors before they make a.
I've always wondered how they are able to know that. Okay,
You see the
communication
prices
prices
have gone up.
Yeah.
Price
So
have
quick.
fallen.
So quick.
Yes, and it's similar.
So No Google, but they've gotten everything.
Yeah, it's community based. The thing is, markets have their way of adapting to different challenges. So they figured it out. They don't use talking drums because those are old. We are in modern times now, right? Yeah. I think you were asking me what was exactly the question. I've lost my train.
It was how you are managing like farmers, probably like field agents,
Yes. So I was saying that you need to have people from those communities because one, they speak the language, they understand. Yeah. But the second part of it is you have to also import certain standards, certain structures locally into the community, right? So they meet the global standard because they need to know that if the guy needs advice at certain times, be there at this time. Yeah. When he harvests, show up at the right time because you sell to the one who's ready to sell. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. All those things you have to educate your people on being punctual and being at the right place at the right time. So I think I work with a very amazing team, honestly. Yeah. Because that's the key at it, right? There's no way, no matter how efficient you are as an individual, you can't be everywhere. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So you need to train your people and work with your people on the standards where they understand that we have. If I'm a single point of failure that could crash the entire system, and I need to do my part. Yeah. So it's a mindset where you have to make sure everybody in your team has that mindset. Yeah. And make sure that they're also building tight relationships with the people in the community, as I said, because people in rural communities are very community based. They are not. They are, even though yes, they'll sell to the one that has the best price, but there's still some relationship aspect of it that you have to come.
Yeah. What of global clients? How do you manage some of them? Sometimes how do you source them? How do you work with them? I mean,
how do you source them? You want me to give you?
No, you can maybe not give us the things, but like, I mean, what you can share, like, I mean, how do you make this connection feasible? Because you don't want to go and get products that, I mean, you've signed deals or you've made somebody agreement or warehouse who are stocking the warehouse with a particular product and there's no buyer, there's no one to. So like, how? I mean, from your end.
No. So I think there's a communication of standards, right?
Yeah.
So you are so when you have a conversation with your client, you know, okay, these are the things that have to be delivered on.
Yeah.
We indicate all the parameters you discuss. It's obviously a conversation. Because take for example right now, like we're negotiating deals to supply shea nuts and shea butter, right?
Yeah.
But the price point which the market is expecting internationally is not matching exactly what's in Ghana. Ghana's butter is very high quality.
Okay.
So it's a matter of also looking within neighboring countries to see so you are trying to balance supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
If person tells you I want 1 CD, it means you have to look around and find something that matches his kind of demand on that end, right? And also there's a communication of the standards exactly you're looking for, and then you reverse engineer to make that happen. I was explaining about shea nuts and the fact that we're in a season where things are a bit different. So right now, most of the times if you're shipping, you ship with a certain level of moisture. Yeah. But because it's raining a lot now, the moisture is a bit high.
Yeah.
You can't dry.
Yeah.
Now it connects back to the infrastructure issues. There's nowhere to dry. Because we're drying, most of us are drying with the sun.
Yeah.
And it's raining all the time, it's cloudy. Why are you going to dry?
But I thought some people have like large scale dryers. Or isn't there a market for that? Or sometimes it's not stable?
Oh no, let me also mention this. GSE is helping us build some dryers in Kenya as well. So
okay.
Under the ICT for Ag project. Yes.
Wow, awesome.
So yes, there are situations.
That saving grains is enjoying all these benefits. So, yeah. Aside the warehouse, they are supporting you build as well.
Yeah, they're helping us. How did you do that?
I mean, you mentioned it low-key with another company, but it's fine.
Okay, yes. We're also working to build a warehouse with them for farmers in the north.
Okay.
We're also building some infrastructure for the farmers we deal with in Kenya. They face a lot of situations with like moisture in their maize after they harvest. Yeah. So we are building dryers in specific key communities to help with drying of the maize after it's harvested. Yeah. So, I was explaining the issue with. So you're asking about shea nuts. The issue of the moisture.
About the season.
Yeah, the season and all.
Right. Sometimes you come into issues like this. You have to negotiate with your buyer that hey, you're trying to buy. You want it at this moisture. It's not possible. Let's adjust. Let's hit between maybe 12 and this. But okay, maybe we'll dry it in the warehouse. Yeah. So it's a matter of a negotiation with your client. Some buyers come here to come buy. Oh wow. They'll set up shop here and buy. Okay. But they'll tell you export it to their parent company. Okay. You just check the quality and you ship it. Yeah. Some of them will just sit on the other side of the world and want you to deliver it to them. So it's a mix of. It's a matter of negotiation and understanding what they expect and trying your best to make sure your operation fits that exactly. Yeah.
So in all this, at what point would you say technology has played like a very critical role for you?
I think technology in the agri space factors a lot into your internal operation. I feel like I'm being very straightforward. It factors a lot into your internal operation. Take for example at Saving Greens, we're working with GIZ. We've also built an internal platform that we use for running our operations. Our plan is we are hoping that product is distributed across other, let's say, other startups in the agri space to use for free because we feel like it would work very well for anybody doing the same kind of business we are. It's because, as I said, there's an efficiency multiplier. Yeah. Technology is an efficiency multiplier. Yeah. So if you do some things in the field, like things like payments, right? Yeah. You're going to be in a situation where one thing you need to know about farmers is most of them like to take cash.
Yes, cash.
It's a very big challenge to deal with. Most of them like to take cash.
The money.
But you also can't be walking around with cash because you're working in rural areas, it's very risky. Yeah. Right? So you need to create systems where you can disburse cash at certain points to your field workers so they can withdraw it and purchase goods when necessary. Yeah. Right? So that's one challenge that technology has been able to fix because I no longer need to you to walk into a bank. You can do mobile money and withdraw.
Yeah.
Right. So working with GIZ, we've also built a system like that allows us to distribute cash to agents. They withdraw, and there has to be another thing I usually deal with is because you're disbursing a lot of money so frequently, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
To buy products, right?
Yeah.
Take for example, if you're doing one bag of shea nuts right now, you probably get it anywhere around maybe 800. Let's say it's about 8 CDs, 6 to 7, 8 CDs. Yeah. 6 to 8 CDs, depending on what you're buying from.
Yeah.
If it's 100 kilobyte, that's 600. And the truck load is about 50 tons. So you can imagine the cost on just that truck.
Yeah.
And for every bag that is loaded, there's cleaning, there's loading, there's the cost of the sack itself.
Bagging.
There's bagging. There's so many tiny points of payment. And you need to account for all these things when you're filing your taxes, you're loading your stuff.
Yeah.
So and you're paying for most of these things.
Cash. Yeah, nobody.
So imagine if all these things are right now. Something like this, you probably spend a lot of time sitting down, reconciling.
Reconciling.
Something like this, tech saves you a lot of time.
Yeah, that's
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, that's a major.
Knowing at what point your inventory is at. You have 50 tons in your drawable, you have 20 tons here. You are supposed to fill 100 ton, or at least you can see where things are in certain points.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
Those are things that technology can help with, managing your inventory, managing your, how do you call it?
Payments, reconciliation.
There's also things like weather prediction.
Yeah.
To know when some things are high risk in terms of what the future prices look like in terms of when you're negotiating with buyers. Because sometimes you have to do like deals ahead of time, right? Maybe you are because when the season starts, everyone's asking you of your price.
Yeah.
And nobody will lock down a deal if they don't know your price. You have to give them
Your
some
price.
sort of understanding. You need to know things of that sort to be able to come to an understanding on certain fronts.
Right. So I've also seen or met a number of like produce buyers or commodity buyers that also export. Some of them maybe to a friend in China or somewhere. They happen to get a deal to export like a large quantity and go in. And I'm thinking about it, looking at somebody like that and you guys, what would be a good deal or proposal for somebody to like work with you to get better results for maybe as an aggregator, what he's doing in that work, or someone who probably how do you call it, the husk or bricks, maybe cashew nuts, and they buy another. What would be an advantage working with like a company like Saving Grains?
So one thing about Saving Grains that we do, I think I should have mentioned it in our description, is one of our key principles as a business is that we are a social business.
Okay.
We try to impact the communities in which we work in. Okay. So we pay profit shares to the farmers we work with, right?
Interesting.
So we are looking into various schemes in which we can give those profit shares back. So take, for example, we want to take part of our profit and use it to develop small business infrastructure, right? Yeah. Situations like this. Or maybe we provide fertilizers at a discount of the profit that we've donated. Things of that sort. Those are things I would say is an advantage to working with us. And we are very keen on the data. We collect data on the farmers we impact, things like that. So those are that would say that's a key difference between us and the regular commodity trader. Okay. Aside the innovation and the technological aspect, on the pure business numbers side, that is one aspect to us.
I have two questions. I think as you are wrapping up, my first question. What's my first question? My first question would be: you've been on the job for a number of years now. What's like one shocker for you through all this? As an chief operations officer for an agri-tech, what's one shocker?
Aside from people's weird behaviors within the operation, there's very little that shocks you because because we operate in Ghana, we operate in Kenya. I've also seen operations in different countries. Yeah. You realize there's one thing I believe in, that intelligence converges, right? If you leave two different people in two different situations with half a brain, they will arrive at the same solutions with time. Yeah. Right? So you realize that farmers everywhere have developed the same systems to solving the same problem.
The same problem, yeah.
In Kenya and Ghana, you realize that as time goes on, they all realize, okay, this is the best way to do it with the things we have. Yeah. So maybe that's, I wouldn't say it's a shocker, but that's one learning I've noticed. Like, farmers are very similar to farmers in Kenya and somewhere. And that's like halfway across the continent. Yeah. They operate in very similar ways, right? Yeah. And also, the one thing that was really a shock is the cash thing.
That they collect cash.
But I think farmers in Kenya are more open to taking M-Pesa than taking cash. compared to Ghanaians. Ghanaians are very stubborn on that.
Yeah. I think even in Accra, you have people like who don't take Momo.
Yes.
Like some bean seller have been buying his beans. So now, like she doesn't access Momo.
Some
And
people do
it's
not
sad
take
if
Momo.
you're out of money, you should not sell.
They probably just don't trust the system.
I wouldn't call it the shocker, but it's something we need to engineer for, right? I think
Can be an inconvenience to you.
Their main problem is the charges.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Their main problem is the charges. They don't want to pay any charges.
But e-levy is off.
It's not e-levy.
There's still charges.
But transaction charges.
You'll be surprised. Like
transaction charges.
they are very focused on that one CD you pay for the transfer.
Yeah.
We'll do a lot for them.
So what are some of the trade-offs you have to make as a Ghanaian business or as a Ghanaian, maybe let me be specific in this space, agri-tech, to deliver global quality produce or standards if it was in other fields?
If trade-offs are a bit hard, but let's say maybe if you're asking about things we've done to make sure it happens, to make sure we meet the quality.
Yeah, meet the quality.
I think being very alert. Because there's been people who have transported bags of stones and soybeans to port.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a cost. I'm sure you've seen videos of things like that. Like you're trading with your fellow Ghanaian, you think,
everything.
So there's a need for a lot of like
checking
verification.
You need to be very keen because you can have situations where there's been times where we walked into a warehouse and we're like, I want to buy like 1,000 bags of maize. And the guy's like, I have my maize, come and buy it. Then you look at it, the bags on the front.
The front are
perfect. Then as you start loading the bags, and he will tell you that he will not let you touch the bag until you've paid.
Yeah.
After you've paid, that's when you start realizing that he has bags of maize that are fermenting in there, are rotting in there. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So all these things will then factor into your processes. You then state the process like, we don't pay until we've loaded onto the truck.
Yeah.
You see? So you only pay once goods are on the truck. Yeah. So those things then affect your position.
How do you guys manage learning? Like, from what you are saying, means you learn something, you improve the process.
Yeah.
How do you...
Oh, you'll be forced to learn. It will be painful. It will be painful because you may lose money on certain things. Yeah. And obviously when it happens, you have to come down hard on your team, right? Yeah. And then you remind them of the principles we have. Yeah. It's a role where you are a friend, you are a boss. Yeah. Because you also have to understand them because your team is taking a lot of risk for you on the ground. Trust me. Your guys are riding through villages. Wow. Sometimes at very late hours of the night. They can be loading trucks late into the night. And my team really, I feel like they do a really great job. But if you make a mistake, you made a mistake. You discuss it.
For the record, I used to work. We did a few trips across the country.
I think Poga was on that trip too.
Yeah, it was a very, very interesting trip. Yeah. For me, I think after the trip, I wanted to like get into agric myself because so when I saw the money that the farmers were making, it was crazy. Like it was crazy. Yeah. It was crazy.
They make a lot of money. You'd be surprised someone wearing. They walk around very. They're making millions. Some of them. No, it may sound like a joke, but you may see somebody walking there with tattered clothes. If he tells you the amount of money, well, these are the big traders. But if you see the amount of money, you'll be shocked. Yeah, they don't put on a Versace or a Gucci for you to see.
Yeah. So how do you also manage like expectations, especially for a local farmer that he knows that this people they buy from me. If I don't get anything, I can get some $500,000 from just. Why? Because maybe I have like a warehouse I buy from also and store there. And also, international clients also expecting like a certain standard that, I'm giving this Ghanaian company a chance to, first of all, it's some way sending even big money. It's like some amounts of money is being pushed into a particular business that they are now building a relationship with. There's a lot of expectations. Like, are they going to deliver at the quality we have and all that? How do you manage some of these things? Because I believe business comes to sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes products are not as perfect as they wish. Sometimes somebody wants to return some containers or a number of containers. How do you manage some of these expectations?
I think trade is one of the oldest businesses that have existed. Right?
Yeah.
You remember I told you if you put two people in two separate markets, intelligence converges. Yeah. So the system itself has generated processes around things like that, right? So there's situations where you have like instruments, certain financial instruments where maybe the person guarantees that he has money on the other side of the world. But he only release the goods if it passes certain quality checks. Yeah. And you guys will appoint an independent quality checker. There are companies that do things like that, right?
Okay.
That's their job.
Yeah.
Their job is to just check
Yeah.
that it has met certain standards.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of SGS.
Yeah.
They exist, SGS, untold, there are companies like that.
It's fair trade in that kind of space too. For cocoa.
Fair trade is more like it's similar, but they create standards in terms of the fact they say, okay, if something is fair trade certified, it means it's met certain standards.
Okay.
And fair trade tries to make sure that you are helping the community out. As the name implies, fair trade.
Yeah.
So you don't buy from people who are like maybe child labor.
Yeah.
Things like that. Those are the things that are imposed. So if something is fair trade certified, it's met certain standards.
Yeah. Okay.
But basically, long story short, to say how do you deal with situations like that, the system has evolved to handle situations like that. Too many of them. Yeah. So it depends. If you tell me what the problem is, I can tell you how buyers and suppliers how the system has evolved to mitigate that challenge. Yeah. So it's not a situation of them doing us a favor to buy from us. There's some commodities you can only get in West Africa.
Yeah.
You get what I'm coming from.
So that means you sometimes have like higher leverages to some of this people.
It's not higher leverage. It's just I think Africa. We need to realize where we are on the map.
Yeah.
To be honest, and there are key things that we need to do. I think, like Ghana cocoa is one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
It is the best in the world. If you go onto the commodity price markets, the ICE, you go into ICE. That's where you check commodity prices for cocoa, right? Ghana's products and a couple of other countries sell at a certain premium.
Yeah.
You understand where I'm coming from? So it's not them doing us a favor. You only get, and there's actually a difference. You taste the products and there's a difference.
There's a difference.
Yes, maybe it may be a bit overpriced, but hey, there's a difference.
Yeah. You've mentioned a lot of things about your team and motivating them and challenging them and all that, and I mean we had on them more. All that. I mean you're a leader, leading probably 20, 30 team members or 10 or more working with you, and some are picking up because also like you said, they're not always on the field. So some need to be upgrading, some are moving out, some are taking new routes, some are learning about new things. If there should even be a new product or commodity you want to go in, definitely somebody has to go and find out what's in that commodity or trading. How do you prepare team members for such roles, for such experience, for such growth in your organization? Or what ways have you tried doing this?
So I think on all these things I've mentioned a lot about my field team, but I also have an exceptional co-founder, right? That's one thing I'd say. He's one of the most detail-oriented people I've ever met in my life. He's to the T.
Okay.
He's not Ghanaian though. He's German.
Okay.
So I think Germans are like very to the T.
The processes they just
processes. He's very. That's one thing. He's always on. Let me not say. I think you're going on national television, but you get how come he's keen about certain deliveries. Yeah. So spills over to me, spills over to my team. He's like, okay, this has to be. I think between us, you have a certain dynamic where I'm the one shooting for the stars. Yeah. And he's the one saying, hold on, what bullet are you shooting to the stars with? What gun did you choose to shoot to the stars?
Yeah.
How many seconds are you finding at the stars? So like that goes hand in hand with the team dynamics, and that I think that spills up to the team, right? Yeah. And another thing I would say is you need to trust your team more. And that's one of the principles I think have worked for me, basically as a team leader. You need to trust your team more. I don't think this is not my first startup. This is probably my
definitely.
This is my third. So I've made certain mistakes that I don't make again. One of the things that you need to understand is you need to trust your team. Yeah. Throw them into the fire and let them learn. Right? Yeah. So if you have a task to execute, say for example you're building a castle, right? Yeah. And you have to start from the foundation to you get to the roof. Maybe the roof can be built separately. Yeah. My principle is always take the roof and hand it over to your juniors to start building, right? Okay. Worst case, nothing is done. You still build it if you're the same person alone. Yeah. Best case, they build it at 50% efficiency and you've saved time and they learn and you can teach them. Yeah. So basically, you give your team more responsibilities. The guy that acts like a junior, tell him today I'm handing you this task. Yeah. Every day you see your boss doing it. Today you are the one doing it. Yeah. And I will call you if there's an issue. If there's an issue, call me. Yeah. But I'm expecting you to handle it effectively. Yeah. I will not scold you if it goes wrong. Yeah. But basically, throwing them into the fire is one of the best ways to learn. Awesome. They work under you a bit and then you force them. Okay, today I want you to run the logistics for this truck. They will pick it up as you go. Awesome. They'll make the mistakes obviously, but you learn as you go. As I said, you create the systems you give them the opportunities to learn and make their mistakes, and it builds their confidence, and it will save you your time, because you can't be everywhere, you can't do everything.
You can't get as perfect as you wish you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, as we get closer to drawing the curtains. I mean, I believe like agri-tech has changed in the few years. Some of us have known it, and maybe in the long years you have worked in it.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah. What are some of the things you have observed in this change, even in this approach where we sell agri? Like now we see agri billboards, agri-tech billboards all around, like people talking about we engaging in farming and making it nice, and like funds available to them. What are some of the changes you've seen happen or you see about to happen?
One of the key things I'm seeing a lot of, which is exciting me, I think agri in Africa is going to be a very different place in 10 years. Governments are being more proactive.
Okay. Wow.
They are beginning to realize that cocoa is not the only crop you're supposed to be looking at.
Yeah.
They are imposing new structures that are enforcing more processing locally.
Yeah.
Ivory Coast, for example, like this banned exports for cashew.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Like raw cashew.
Okay.
They made sure that a lot of their local industries were picking up a lot of the products before they are like, okay, our guys have had their fill, we can take the rest. Yeah. And they've built a whole facility that allows people to come like rent a space and work in there if you're a cashew processor.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I feel like in 10 years, there's going to be a lot of processing happening in Africa, and I feel like that's the new bandwagon. I feel like every agri-tech, if you're a business, that is also technology. Start moving in that direction.
Yeah.
Start looking more into processing, add value addition to whatever products you're shipping. And I think government policy is shaping up in that direction. If you talk to different governments and look across different agri policy across, even within West Africa, you realize that's one of the major changes that is happening. They are making it harder and harder to export raw commodities.
Yeah. It makes sense, because I heard someone saying that, I mean, I'm bringing cashew from Cote d'Ivoire to Ghana. It's smuggled. Yes. And I thought it was from our end that, maybe I'm not making it obvious to customers and all that. But I'm now getting to understand from the point where he said it's banned. But it's interesting to, I mean, as we have seen in like even tech, sometimes B2C startups or startups start as B2C, and before you realize they're all B2B. In the same way, I believe agri-tech starting as exporting like raw products or raw materials will reach a point where they will automatically get into manufacturing, because it will be part of the ecosystem that they have to work in or get higher value for. Initially, we've done a lot of like raw materials locally. We've exported some. We've learned that it's not the best. We improve it, but I believe everybody needs to get to a certain level, and that'll be solved in. All right. So before we sign off, I want to ask a few lightning round questions. It doesn't need a lot of thinking, so I have to figure it out. What's one logistic challenge you have mastered that used to keep you up at night?
Logistical
challenge that you have mastered now.
Well, that's moving money. That's moving money between your team. That's one headache.
Yeah.
Would you consider that a logistic challenge?
Probably. I mean, as long as the money is moving somewhere. So.
Well. Okay. Logistic challenge. Yeah. Maybe we still haven't conquered it. Finding trucks. Wow. You'll be surprised. Wow. Because you're not the only one buying the same commodity. Yeah. When it's share nut season, everybody's going in the same place. Yeah. So getting a truck to move your goods down is a big issue. Yeah. We still haven't mastered it, so I wouldn't say that.
Awesome. Spreadsheet, whiteboard, or app? What's your go-to tool for staying organized?
Spreadsheet, whiteboard, or app?
Don't let me.
It really depends on where we are. It really depends. Yeah. Right now, I still organize a lot with ChatGPT. I run a lot of ideas through ChatGPT.
Okay. Okay. All right. What's one supply chain buzzword you secretly dislike? Like people they abuse them. People abuse it.
You're asking very difficult questions.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Yeah. If you could automate one thing in your work, what would you want to automate for tomorrow?
Automate?
Yes.
Transport.
Telling
you to make like picking up goods and delivering to where it's supposed to be at the right time.
Yeah.
With no issues on the road. The truck is broken down.
That would be great. All right. Thank you so much, Kelvin. It was a pleasure having you on the Building Bytes podcast.
Well. I've had so much fun here.
Yeah, we look forward to having more interesting conversations as time goes on. Sure. Yeah. So, any closing remarks from Yaira before we go?
Thank you so much, Kelvin, for this educative episode, and I hope you found it educative as well. And don't forget, Building Bytes airs on MX24 on Thursdays at 8 p.m. and repeats on Sunday at 7 p.m. Do not miss it. Don't forget to share this episode, leave a comment, tell us what you enjoyed about this episode, what you learned, and we will see you in our next episode. Bye.
Bye.